आज खुश तो बहुत हो गए तुम।
क्यों? क्योंकि हम पॉडकास्ट का एक एक्स्ट्रा एपिसोड रिकॉर्ड कर रहे हैं।
हाँ, देवी और सजनों, शुरू करें।
Welcome to the Shabby and Man podcast. We are partners, parents, podcasters, broadcasters.
And everything else in between. Huh?
Well, Manish Sai, to what do we owe this pleasure of an extra podcast? Do you want to enlighten our listeners?
इतने क्लूज तो दे दिए, एक और क्लू दो।
हाँ।
जहाँ लाइन शुरू होती है ना, वहीं से लाइन शुरू होती है। Totally mess that up.
जहाँ हम खड़े होते हैं,
ना, वहीं से लाइन शुरू होती है।
मनीष, तुम्हारा नाम क्या है मनीष? I gave you another one. It is the biggest A and the biggest B combined, AB, Amitabh Bachchan's 80th birthday. And it is a momentous day in Indian cinema, right? Because the man who began his career in 1969 with Khwaja Ahmad Abbas's film, हम सब जानते हैं उसका नाम, सात हिंदुस्तानी. He has not only seen the highest peaks and the lowest troughs in a shimmering, glowing yet what many would consider an unforgiving, brutal biz like no biz, which is showbiz. You know, the fascinating thing is that even after 53 years in cinema, Amitabh Bachchan is still relevant. He's still the most eager, curious, diligent newbie on set. He's loved and revered by generations.
Sorry, are you giving a bhashan?
I am. On the one and only Mr. Bachchan. And that is the phenomena called AB. And we've got a pick and mix of stuff that we're going to share with you because both of us happen to be Amitabh Bachchan fans, and I want to see today if, we remember the lesser known stuff. Let's start with the simple things. What is the first Bachchan movie you remember?
वो तो मुझे याद नहीं. Probably Anand.
Anand? I was going to say Amar Akbar Anthony or something.
Amar Akbar Anthony is one of my favorite movies.
हाँ.
But कभी-कभी मेरे दिल में ख्याल आता है कि मैंने शोले भी देखी है, जंजीर भी देखी है, पुकार भी देखा है, शराबी भी देखी है.
खुल के देखिए कि दीवार के पीछे छुप के देखिए.
Very good.
आपके अभिमान को आज हम थोड़ी सी ठेस जरूर पहुंचाएंगे. That's another Bachchan film, by the way.
I did get it.
Before we say goodbye, another Bachchan film.
Oh, that's a new one, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I was looking at all the websites that have paid tribute to arguably the biggest Bollywood star, at least in our times. And there are facts about Amitabh Bachchan that are well known, that are part of Bollywood folklore, things that everybody knows, like Saath Hindustani was his first film. What else? Which is the film where he got injured? Everybody knows.
That was Coolie.
Yes, name the actor who actually threw the punch.
Puneet Ishar.
Issar. Fantastic. Issar. Yes. So, these are things that all of us know, right? लेकिन कुछ चीजें हैं which maybe only die-hard Bachchan fans know. So, दुनिया में जहाँ भी बैठ के आप ये podcast सुन रहे हैं, join in, feel free to...
No, but if you ask someone, if you say, okay, give me a Amitabh Bachchan dialogue, there are two or three that come straight away. One is the...
Which is your go-to?
One is that, रिश्ते में तो हम तुम्हारे बाप होते हैं, नाम है शहंशाह. And what's the other one that we all know?
मेरे पास माँ है.
No, the Don one.
Oh, Don का इंतजार तो I can never remember 11, 12 या 13 मुल्कों की पुलिस.
11 मुल्कों में
11 मुल्कों की पुलिस कर रही है, लेकिन डॉन को पकड़ना मुश्किल ही नहीं, नामुमकिन है.
नामुमकिन.
I like a dialogue of his which I quote very often on radio from one of his recent films, बदला. बदला लेना हर बार सही नहीं होता, मगर माफ कर देना भी सही नहीं होता. He does all of that,
But what is he more famous for nowadays? Lock किया जाए.
All that. Lock kiya jaye also is celebrating his 20th season or something like that, right? He's done a phenomenal number of...
And if I said to you, name me a character that Amitabh Bachchan plays, you know what you would say? You'd say Vijay Dinanath Chauhan.
Hey Bhagwan.
Pura naam. Baap ka naam Dinanath Chauhan. Maa ka naam, do you know?
Subhashini
Chauhan. Gaon Mandwa. Umar 40 साल 9 महीने. Or, do you know what movie that's from?
It is from Agnipath.
It is, yeah.
I'm a bigger fan of the new Agnipath with Hrithik and Priyanka than the original Agnipath. I found the original Agnipath exceedingly dire. And I know that this is a day we're meant to be celebrating his films, and I know it is part of Amitabh Bachchan's filmography. Also, the one reason why it became very big was because the movie apparently is based on a very famous poem called Agnipath by his dad, Harivansh Rai Bachchan. And he quotes lines from it every now and then. But that was when Amitabh Bachchan was at the tail end of his stardom, his first innings. And it did absolutely nothing for me. But I know that it's one of those films which gets quoted a lot and people talk about the baddie Kancha Cheena, right?
That's right. I think it was Danny. And all
And
I can remember...
was there Rajnikant in it as well? I think there was Rajnikant in it
I think that's Anda Kanoon.
Was it Anda Kanoon?
Yeah.
I'm getting a bit mixed up there.
But all I remember from Agnipath is that he used to wear white trousers.
Yeah.
You know.
You mean way before Govinda?
Before Jitendra, probably.
Oh, Jitendra also. This an interesting thing that I discovered while doing a bit of research on Amitabh Bachchan. Who do you think was the Bollywood star who allowed Amitabh Bachchan to stay in his house for a few days when Amitabh was absolutely new to Mumbai and he didn't know a soul? This was an established Bollywood star at the time who gave him his barsati in Mumbai. That thode din ke liye you can come and stay.
How many guesses do I get? Give me three guesses.
Yeah.
Rajesh Khanna?
No.
Devanand?
It wasn't a leading actor, but it was a very big star, but it wasn't someone who played the hero. Who do you think it might have been?
Prem.
Naam hai mera Chopra. No, it is Mahmood.
Oh.
Apparently Mahmood Saab told him that, you can come and stay in my house for a few days while you're still...
and they were good friends, weren't they? They did Bombay to Goa.
Yeah. Another interesting fact, that Amitabh Bachchan plays a mute. Do you know in which film? I didn't remember this. Reshma Aur Shera.
No, I have no
This
idea.
was headlined by Sunil Dutt. And rumor has it that Sunil Dutt cast Amitabh Bachchan in it because he got a sifarish, jise hum kehte hain, a letter of introduction from someone who was in very high office who said, could you please give this boy a chance? If I told you that this person was good friends with the Bachchans, then I'm sure you'll get the answer straight away. Who do you think it was? Who put in a kind word?
Indira Gandhi.
The Prime Minister of India at the time, Indira Gandhi.
It's a well-known story that his mother, Amitabh Bachchan's mother,
Teji Bachchan. Yeah,
Bachchan
but I didn't know that Indira Gandhi put in a word, and because apparently she was very friendly with Nargis as well. So she put in a word because Sunil Dutt produced this film and he was the hero in it, Reshma Aur Shera.
You know that high up on a mountain are a couple of boarding schools.
Yes.
Where Amitabh Bachchan went, Kabir Bedi went, Nasruddin Shah went, and I went.
Yeah. And?
That's just by the by.
Oh, by the by.
And a lot of infamous people also went.
Yeah, of course, I'm sure. Let's start that infamous list, which starts with you. Yeah. And then I'm sure many others. What do you think, how do you think Bollywood is going to be celebrating? I know that they planned a special episode of KBC, that I know. And a whole lot of people are coming up with tributes. For instance, they had the Back to the Beginning Bachchan Film Festival in PVR for about 3-4 days. And
this is right now.
Right now. It concludes on his birthday.
I know. I read a wonderful tweet by Boman Irani.
Huh.
He went to see Amar Anthony. And he said, I've seen it after 45 years. And he says people were whistling. It was just like watching it for the first time.
Yeah, it is the thrill of watching it on the big screen. Everybody has a VHS and everybody has a DVD and things like that. Those who are really diehard fans, you can watch it on YouTube or Netflix. But it's just the fact that you're watching it in the cinema with everybody else and you're transported back to probably a very special time.
Remember how lucky we were to watch Sholay on the big screen?
Yeah.
With, I don't think...
Dharmendra was in the audience.
Dharmendra came in the audience, yeah. I think Amitabh came.
Another interesting fact came to light that Amitabh Bachchan was once shooting a film in a foreign location, in a foreign country. The president of that country was so impressed, was such a big fan of Amitabh Bachchan that he got the National Air Force to protect him, to be his security. And apparently the film that they were shooting then, when it came out, that to date remains the most watched Indian film in that country. Do you have any idea which Middle Eastern country and which Amitabh Bachchan film I might be referring to?
No.
So
it is. Clues.
It is Afghanistan.
All right. Oh, I know which one. The movie where he plays, he's got a daddy.
Yeah, which one was it?
What is it called?
Two words. The first one means God.
Khuda
Gawa. That's the one. So apparently they were shooting it in Afghanistan and the Afghan president was so impressed. He said, don't worry, my Air Force is going to be your personal protection. And apparently it still remains the most watched Indian film in Afghanistan.
Shall I tell you a nice Amitabh Bachchan story concerning myself?
Yeah.
I was in India.
Have you ever seen him?
I have, quite a few times.
I was just going to say.
So, quite a few times I've seen him, because once, the first time I saw him, I was only about 9 or 10. I had no idea who he was.
Oh, please.
I didn't. I really didn't know who he was. But
did he come to your boarding school?
No, from the buzz, you knew that something, him and Shashi Kapoor were filming something. This is in the late 70s, early 80s, I think. But I went to his comeback film, his Moharat shot, in Bombay with my friend was a journalist at the time, and he smuggled me along. So they broke a coconut. I forgot the name of the movie now.
Even I've forgotten the name. In this movie, he plays a Mrityudata.
Mrityudata.
That's the one. It's a very bad film. He plays a doctor.
So Danny was there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
His best buddy Tinu Anand was there. Tinu Anand was chatting with us and saying that I've got the script for a new movie we're going to make afterwards called Mard, which was made actually. So remember that.
So is that the first time you saw him? No,
I've seen him
as an adult
a few times.
You've seen him as part of.
But this is the first time I saw him.
Up close,
doing a shot, doing a bit of acting.
There's another fantastic piece of trivia on Dawn. When Farhan Akhtar decided to remake Dawn, and because his dad and Salim Khan had written it, so when they secured the rights for the remake turned out to be just as popular with Shah Rukh in the lead. So they said that in the original Dawn, apparently, Khai Ke Paan Banaras Wala was not part of the screenplay, was not part of the film at all. It was only in the rough cut that apparently the director Chandra Barrott was showing it to one of his friends, and it was Manoj Kumar. This was one of the songs either they had just decided as a backup plan or something. It hadn't been shot. So when Manoj Kumar saw the rough cut, he said, just to break up the action, to break up the intensity of the film, you should throw in a few light moments. So
Manoj, Mera Desh Meri Dharti.
Yes, Mera Desh Ki Dharti Sona Ugle Kumar. He suggested that Khai Ke Paan Banaras Wala should be shot, and that is how they ended up shooting it much later and inserting it. Also, they say that Amitabh Bachchan, being the perfectionist that he was, do you have any idea how many pans he may have eaten to perfect that song?
No, tell me.
40.
Banarsi pans.
40 Banarsi pans, and the next day apparently his pura muh was kata hua, chila hua, because he had so much pan, so much katha. But then...
Did they recreate the scene with Shah Rukh Khan in the...
They did.
In the new Dawn?
They did. So that's again something very interesting. And Amitabh Bachchan, so he has been that perfectionist from the word go. Even to this day, they say. My sister has worked closely with him because she has, she reworked the theme tune of Kaun Banega Crorepati, infusing it with Indian elements. So she's seen him on set many times. And she says that it's absolutely true what they say. He's the first one on set. He's the one who's most keen to rehearse, the most diligent person who really wants to know how everything will be done, and if he ever messes up, he's willing to do 500 retakes if that's what you want, so, which is quite something. His work ethic is absolutely phenomenal.
Very famous story that he's always on time.
Yeah, and in fact, he tells a story. He recounts a story that in the 1980s, apparently, he was meant to be at some charitable event. And he says that I was asked to be there at 9:30, and when I turned up at 9:30, no one had arrived, because clearly Bollywood stars had a reputation of being fashionably late, which was very late. And he said that I waited for 10 minutes and I left the venue. And when the organizers got in touch with me later, profusely apologizing and asking why I didn't stay on or why I didn't ask them or whatever, I told them that, I had put everything aside to be there on time, respecting their time, and they should have done the same for me. And I think Amitabh Bachchan says in an interview, I think 4 or 5 years ago, I remember reading, as recently as 4 or 5 years ago, that was the day Bollywood actually woke up to the fact that I wasn't just kidding when I said, tell me what time you need me to be there, and I'll be there. So, that was the big game changer for him. What else?
Well, let's talk about the voice.
Yeah.
The baritone voice. Apart from being just a phenomenal actor, he's also done so many voiceovers for movies. I mean, what comes to mind is Lagan. He narrated Lagan, didn't he? And I think he narrated Jodha
Akbar, Parinita.
Parinita.
Apparently he narrated Shatranj Ke Khiladi for Satyajit Ray all the way back. The first movie he narrated was even before, the same year, 69, but even before he did Saath Hindustani, which was for a Bengali film called Bhuvan Shome. So he was the voice for that. So apparently, and
he was working in Calcutta, wasn't he?
Yeah, and as you famously know, he got rejected by All India Radio.
I know.
So again, I mean, it'll be very interesting to see. Fans like us can talk about the films that left a big impression, the songs that are favorites. I'm most keen to see what his contemporaries have to say about him, because sometimes that gives you an insight into a man who the side that you didn't know.
We all knew, because as we were both in All India Radio, we both knew that he got rejected. But if I'm not mistaken, when he walked through the hallway, wasn't there a picture of like Jaya Bachchan's grandfather or someone started All India Radio?
Yeah, you're right. There was that connection. But, and strangely enough, when you look back, when Jaya Bachchan and Amitabh actually married, again, a piece of trivia everybody knows, Zanjeer was the film that they did together, and they wanted to go on holiday. They wanted to come to London on a holiday, but in those days it was absolutely unthinkable for a girl and a boy to go off on holiday without being married. So that was one of the reasons why they got married before. And they promised themselves that if Zanjeer was a hit, they'd go on holiday. So they also say that, why was I telling you this? That another very well-known fact about Zanjeer, that when Amitabh Bachchan and Jaya Bhaduri got married, she was the bigger of the two stars.
I know.
She was the more popular one. She'd already done some big Hrishikesh Mukherjee films. And Jaya Bachchan talks about it now and says that after we got married and after we had Shweta, I realized that you couldn't have two actors living in the same house. One of us had to give up. And I willingly gave up my career.
If you watch the start of Sholay, I mean, we have to talk about Sholay.
Yeah.
But if you watch the start of Sholay, I think Dharmendra's name comes first, then Jaya Bachchan's name. Amitabh Bachchan's name comes about fourth or fifth.
Fourth or fifth, you're absolutely right. You see Dharmendra, you see Sanjeev Kumar, Hema Malini, then I think Amitabh Bachchan, or Jaya Bhaduri, then Amitabh Bachchan. But strangely enough, we know that they were married then. We know that she was expecting Shweta when she did that. But her name still says Jaya Bhaduri. It doesn't say Jaya Bachchan, which is again strange. I mean, when it comes to the most amount of quotable quotes and memorable lines from any Bachchan film, I think Sholay takes the cake. Because
I think it's between Sholay and Diwar, which are both, I think, if I'm not mistaken, 1975-ish movies.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Sholay 78. Yeah, Diwar is about the same time. That was Salim Javed at their peak, and these were the films that gave rise to the angry young man persona, right? These are the ones that made him Trishul, Sholay, Diwar, Zanjeer, all of these. So happy 80th birthday to a man like no other, to a man who has entertained generations of film fans.
Did we mention why we're doing this podcast? Because it's his 80th birthday today.
It is his 80th birthday today. And it'll be interesting, like I said, that a lot of stuff will happen in course of the day. So I'm sure when we look back on this celebration in a few days' time, it'll become apparent. We'll see all the tributes that come pouring in. And we had to do this because we talk about Bollywood. We are Indians, we love our movies, and there's absolutely no way you can acknowledge this milestone birthday of a man who has meant so much to so many.
Did I do that? Aaj mere paas building hai, property hai, bank balance hai, bangla hai, podcast hai. Kya hai tumhare paas, huh? Kya hai?
Mere paas radio show hai. On that note, I think we should say bye-bye.
Oh, no, come on, we have to hear one dialogue from you also.
I mean, Diwar ka jo dialogue, yahi wala dialogue hai. I always like to go back at least 5 more lines and
I like
start from the start. The Mausi one.
Yeah,
oh my God, I've done that one so many times, which is surely, of course, where he's gone Dharmendra ka rishta lekar. But I liked an Amitabh Bachchan dialogue from Pink, which is a courtroom drama with Taapsee Pannu.
I've seen it, but I can't remember any dialogue.
But he says, ना सिर्फ एक शब्द नहीं, अपने आप में एक पूरा वाक्य है. इसे किसी तर्क, स्पष्टीकरण, एक्सप्लेनेशन या व्याख्या की जरूरत नहीं होती. ना का मतलब ना ही होता है. Nobody asked for him.
Sound like a Hindi lesson there.
Yeah. And then, even that Diwar wala jo aaj khush to bahut hoge tum dialogue, it goes on, like, do you remember the context?
Something to do with Ravi.
No, the context is that his mother is battling for her life.
That I know, yeah.
So obviously he's talking to God. It's a monologue with God. He's saying, आज खुश तो बहुत हो गए तुम. देखो, जो आज तक तुम्हारी मंदिर की सीढ़ियां नहीं चढ़ा है, जिसने आज तक तुम्हारे सामने सर नहीं झुकाया है, जिसने आज तक कभी तुम्हारे सामने हाथ नहीं जोड़े, वो आज तुम्हारे सामने हाथ फैलाए खड़ा है. बहुत खुश हो गए. दीवार.
Do you know any Amar Granthi dialogues?
My name is Anthony Gonsalves. दिल भी है खाली, घर भी है खाली, जिसमें रहेगी कोई किस्मत वाली, जिसे मेरी याद आए जब चाहे चली जाए. रूपनगर, प्रेम नगर, खोली नंबर 420.
रूपनगर, प्रेम गली, गली number 420.
खोली number.
Excuse me, please.
Yeah, that's the one. So,
when I was young, I could say that. I can't remember it at all.
Oh, the hemoglobin in the atmosphere.
That was inversely proportional to the atmosphere.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay, that's it. I think we should now really stop. And are we doing another podcast next weekend?
Yes, we are. This was just a Amitabh Bachchan special.
This was just a Bachchan special.
Where we actually talked about nothing really, but just memories and dialogues.
Which is what Amitabh Bachchan is. He's a part of everyone's youth, adolescence, childhood for many people.
I thought you were going to quiz me on some Amitabh Bachchan facts.
No, it's okay. I've given up now. It's okay. I wanted to ask you, like, for instance, which was the actor whose house he stayed in? Which song in Dawn wasn't even meant to be a part of the film, which is again Kai Ke Baad, but so I told you, gave you the answers anyway. But it's been absolutely fabulous recording this special episode, and we hope that you'll give us your feedback on this on all our social media platforms. And if you have something to tell us about Amitabh Bachchan, which is of special interest to you and we've missed out here, please do reach out to the Shabby and Man podcast on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, etc., and let us know. Until then,
say Shaba Shaba. Bye.
Bye.